Heyo everybody, Haku here with my review for Tower of God Chapter 381, or Season 2 Episode 301. See, getting into the 300s screwing me up already trying to remember everything. But yeah, this one was really good. We're finally getting into the Baam and Zahard fight, and I'm excited to talk about a lot of what we saw might mean. So yeah, let's just discuss the chapter. I took notes, so let's talk about it. Starting off, Baam is using the black hole sphere in the orb, and that's what's the sun color. I think maybe it's supposed to be colorless. I mean, I know it's not literally colorless, but it seems like the orb is what's controlling the colorless Shinsu, and it just has that shining golden core, which I guess is supposed to look like the sun that's within Baam, sort of. And the sphere as a whole, I guess, somewhat looks like that. So it might just be symbolism for that and Baam's true power and everything, because we know the sun was supposed to be the true power within him, and now the orb kind of looks like that, and the orb is his natural Shinsu quality weapon or whatever, so that all makes sense. Then Zahard tries to attack using long-range Shinsu blasts with his golden Shinsu, and Baam uses the clear Shinsu to hold him at bay for a bit. Flashback to Baam talking to Edwan, and Baam says that more than just using the black hole sphere within the orb, he found something a lot more fundamental, and what I'm taking that to mean is he found his character growth. He found that it's his power, and he needs to use it the way that feels natural to him, I guess. He should stop just thinking about all this separate stuff as different fragments, and stop thinking about his past and stuff, and start thinking about the whole picture and who he is. And I think that's what he meant by finding just the fundamentals, that he shouldn't try to fight like fragments of all these other people. He should try to fight like himself. So Zahard then smiles, he gets into it, and I feel like that's showing signs of Zahard's old self from before whatever the real Zahard put in him that made Data Zahard evil. But either way, or I guess, I don't even know if evil's the right word, just corrupt maybe. Like when talking about Zahard in general, I always say that he's evil, and I guess he kinda is, but I don't know, is evil the right word for Zahard, or is it just corrupt? Is that a better word? I would say evil, because I mean, damn, look at some of the backstories that characters have had where Zahard's empire, the 10 families, have really screwed them over. So yeah, like Andrasi's backstory, Anak's backstory, Reflejo, Akraptor. Yeah, I'd say Zahard and the 10 families are pretty evil. I guess I will go for evil as a word. So Zahard uses the golden bomb at a range. The golden bomb. It feels weird saying bomb like as in the explosive when we have the character Baam, which is pronounced very similarly. But yeah, he uses that as at a distance, and then rushes in for a move that he calls Rampage. Then Baam, we learn, can use the orb, can sort of separate it into shards, and then use the shards as a shield to protect himself, which is really cool, and it shows that the orb has a lot more uses than what we've seen before. And actually, I skipped ahead of something before that. When Zahard first uses Rampage, Baam uses the orb as a core for compression, to compress all the matter that was broken up around into a shield to block Zahard. And then once Zahard busts through that, that's when Baam, as a last-ditch effort, out of instinct, is able to use the orb to protect himself by splitting it apart. So again, that doesn't completely protect him. That's not enough to save him from taking a bit of damage, but it is really cool that he can do that. Because Zahard's still just too fast and strong. But I still like, though, that we're seeing compression from Baam, because like I said in the reaction, we've seen that Uruk Mazano can do compression, and that Yuan Sung can do compression. So it's a good thing. We've seen similarities between Baam and Yuan Sung, and between Baam and Uruk, so it's good to see that Baam can use compression now too, even if it's very basic at the moment. Then we have a random cut over to Kunagru, Agnes, Rak, Icarus, and Joaquin. They're the four. They're the four that went to the scale. we didn't really stick with them much to see anything other than, okay, those 4 are the ones they sent. They're at the scale now. And now we're jumping back. And that was just sort of used to fill a little bit of time between Baam and Zahard's attacks. So Baam continues to block using the technique he used where he broke apart the orb, and that is not enough to keep blocking everything, so he keeps getting pushed back, and Zahard mentions that as he keeps attacking, Baam's defense keeps increasing. Baam is learning and getting better very quickly as he fights, and he mentions that Baam's incredibly lucky as well because they just keep running into orbs or cores, and they find the second core, and Zahard goes to break it. And there's this one line that I feel like is really good. At first I thought it was just Baam saying it in the flashback, and then I was like, no, is that Zahard saying it to Baam? And then I kept reading and I'm like, or is this Baam in the flashback? It kind of works in both contexts, so I can't tell which one it is actually meant to be. But the line is like, the me that isn't defined by others, and I really like that, because Zahard was defined by others as the king, and so he became the king. Baam hasn't really been defined by others yet. He hasn't let himself, and now he's not going to, because he's found that character development. He's found who he is. So I did like that, because like, even being called Slayer or Ignition Weapon, Baam never became a weapon. He didn't become a Slayer. He's making his own path. He's becoming who he is, where Zahard was called a king and just went and did what it took to become a king. But we have the flashback to Baam in his inner world, and he explains that he's just now noticing how distracted he always was. He was distracted because every time he met someone new, every time he was going after a goal, he always had the goal in mind was to figure out what was up with his past, who he was, where he came from, all of that. He was distracted with that, and he was distracted by looking at everything that was put in him. The thorn fragment, the orb, the blue demon, the red thrissa, and all that, as all of these separate fragments, all these unrelated things, but now he's finally sort of realized who he is. Then we flash to him destroying the second core, and then flash back to him talking in his inner world some more, where he draws a line in the void and he realizes all those things aren't separate. My past isn't a separate thing. All these fragments aren't separate. They're all part of me, and what I am, what my power is this little white line in the void. What I am is what I leave behind. So he finally realizes that. It's something that's kind of been there all along, but now he's realized it. It's like self-discovery on his part. Then once he does that, we finally see something that's really cool, where this entire time Zahard has been using stuff and he's calling it Zahard style, insert attack name here, whereas Baam, in the entire journey up the tower until now, whenever he uses an attack, it's always been either something he stole from somebody else after absorbing it, or it is Yuhan Sung style or Ha Jin Sung style, depending on whether it's long range or close range. But now finally he uses 25th Night style, and I don't know if we should say Baam for that since he's naming it after himself, but 25th Night style sounds really cool, so he uses that, and it's the black winged butterfly attack. Again, taking all of these small things that were fragments and making them into one whole fighting style, his own fighting style. And I love that he does that, because we see that, like, with that last panel, all the different bits of his design, and with that attack, we see that he's taken all these things he's absorbed to make his own. He's taken the thorn we see floating above him, we see the orb floating on the other side, and the orb, like I said earlier, might be to represent the sun, and the sun also has all of the spirits that he got from Albelda in it, because the sun is his true power, the orb is the quality, which should be the reflection of his true power. It's his weapon that he's meant to have. So again, it's like he's got the thorn, he's got the sun, he's got the two horns for the red thrissa and the blue demon. He's got the clear Shinsu and the black Shinsu from presumably one of those colors, since we know all the 13 warriors have their own color of Shinsu, and they're probably all based on the colors that the 13-month series are. We can assume that V or Arlen, one of them had black Shinsu, and one of them had colorless Shinsu. I would guess maybe Arlen is colorless and black is V, but I don't know either way. I'm just guessing that because of Baam's affinity with Black March. That's the reason I would guess that. So yeah, I think that's really, really cool. He's taken those things, and again with the fighting style, he's taken Yuhan Sung's Shinsu control, Ha Jinsung's fighting technique, all these separate things that were fragments, and he's made them his own. Now that technique combined with those two Shinsu colors and styles, combined with the technique for controlling Shinsu, combined with the Orb and Thorn and Red Thrissa and Blue Demon, all of that together is Baam. It is one whole thing. It's not all these separate fragments. So I like that Baam put all that together, and now he is one, sort of. So I like that. For the blog, the only thing that I thought was super important to the whole point of the chapter was that Siu mentions that what he was trying to do with this story and what he was trying to do with this chapter is he was trying to correlate strength with self-identity. Baam, who didn't know who he was before, and everything was all scattered and fragmented, and he was looking for his past, and he didn't really know who he was, that was kind of holding him back. He didn't just get a bunch of new power this arc, but he's so much stronger than he was before, and it's because even though he had all this before, he was holding himself back by not thinking about it right, but now that he's discovered himself, he can put all that together, and he's much, much stronger because of it. And yeah, I guess that's it. Any main thoughts? I thought it was a really great fight chapter. All that was really good. And usually for a fight chapter, my review would be really short because there's not as much content. But with all the really good fighting and really great art panels we got this chapter, there's still a ton of content to discuss. And yeah, I guess I would say the chapter is the story of Baam kind of finding himself and making the things that he's been given as he's climbed the tower, or that he's absorbed, making all of that into his own thing. As a score, I'd give it 9.5 self-discoveries out of 10, because I thought it was really, really good. And I'm excited for next week, because I'm pretty sure, again, reading the blog, that next week is supposed to continue on the fight, and we're going to see a bunch of new techniques from Baam's new fighting style, so I think that's going to be really, really good. But yeah, that's about it. So either way, I guess, if you did like the video, comment down there to tell me what you thought of this chapter, what you thought of my thoughts on it. Subscribe for more Tower of God, much more on the channel. Follow on Twitter if you want. I can try to keep you updated there and stuff for the channel. And if you want a link to our Discord server to talk to me or more of us there, then just ask and I can give you a link. That's it. Thank you once again for watching, and I'll see you all next time.